Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the SCG Con 10K Riftbound event here. I'm still Blevins. That is still Charmer, and we are going into the last round of Swiss here, Charmer. Round number 9. A lot of really great matches coming in here, Charmer.
Absolutely, and not only do we have great matches, but I hear from production that we have some things to share, such as the metagame spread. We've got the meta-analysis here. This was the representation at today's 10K event. Of course, Kai'Sa in the lead. I think everyone kind of expected that, but a pretty good spread outside of that.
Yeah, honestly, Kai'Sa, enough said there. Master Yi in second, but then Ari being the next is a little bit surprising to me. Just anecdotally, I'm surprised that Sett and specifically Annie are as low as they are, considering just the number of Annies that I saw walking around the hall. I thought there was going to be way more. I also thought there would be way more Setts, but we've seen a bit of everything here on the stream, which is quite amazing to just have experienced. Of course, I see a lone Garen there.
I was going to say, I don't know how well this graphic, that is the other category.
Yes, but I did see one Garen when I was walking around before round 1. It did happen. So I can confirm that I think I saw it. But another thing that I think I saw were the standings for the event here. Let's take a look and see what we got. We've got Ryan Miles, of course, who is a friend of yours, Charmer. We saw them on stream here. Ting Fang still in the top 8 as well going into this last round. Any other names jump out to you, Charmer?
Yes, plenty of them. I do see McConan there. In
that's Savjz.
That's Savjz.
Yeah, that is Savjz. I guess I queued you up there a bit preemptively. We do see Savjz currently in 13th place, which is notable because they lost in round 1. We saw them lose in the very first game of the day.
So that means they're essentially on the bubble. They need that win and in. I referred to them as McConan because it does not say Savjz there.
It does not.
I didn't want to just say Savjz for the people at home. Wanted to point them in the right direction. How dare you? But yes, did lose round 1, has been undefeated since on that Sett deck. Does need a win to get in the old win and in bubble, but we are excited to, again, see so many decks represented like Savjz on the Sett, still performing well. Will make prizing, right? Prizing goes through top 16. But of course, top 8 is the destination.
Yeah, and the destination starts here, Charmer. We are ready to go in to game number 1 of round number 9. And who we got? There it is. Savjz here on the Sett. We saw them in the very first round. We're going to end out the Swiss on them as well. Going up against Jacob T on the Kai'Sa. It looks like we've got Dreaming Tree on the side of Kai'Sa and the Monastery of Hirana on the side of Savjz.
That's right. And Savjz started with the Cythria play. Jacob going to begin things with lecturing Yordle because of the additional rune from going second.
A lot of Angie runes over there, but this is the type of start that you want as Savjz. That Cythria is one of the more versatile 2 drops to start with on the side of Sett. We see a Fiora in hand. First, a trio of first mates, I believe.
Yeah, this is kind of interesting. The Fiora could make sense. It's a nice early development, and you typically kind of want to save those first mates for their when played activation. Get you some additional push. Beach goes into the monastery with Cythria. Gets that first point of the game.
And I guess it's a matter of does
challenge. So is going to develop a first mate. Just ready the Cythria. Cythria will move back, so we'll get this buff as well.
Makes sense. And, can't really do this in the opposite order and consume the buff to draw a card because you need the conquer to already happen to be able to move back. with the first mate there. So just getting a point, getting in, getting out, and setting up for the next turn with a decent amount of back line units. Jacob deciding to take the Dreaming Tree with Lecturing Yordle. And how about we develop the manager and
the
assistant manager of RB's RBS Ravenbloom student.
Yeah, 2 Ravenbloom students played to the base for Jacob. Also, again, because Jacob went second, is left with a single rune up. And there's a lot of things Kaisa can do with a single rune.
Wide range.
There are things like retreat, should somebody want to go and start a scuffle with that Lecturing Yordle.
Yep.
There is also things like Hextech Ray, Stupefy, etc. And so with that in mind, Savjz goes to the Monastery of Harana, uses that buff from Cythria to draw a card to see if we can find some additional options, and instead plays this Pit Rookie.
Yep, and now we see the first mate notably out of the range of a Hextech Ray, but we see Stupefy targeting the Lecturing Yordle to essentially turn that into a Consult the Past, because you get the target from the Dreaming Tree, you draw the card natively from the Stupefy, so that's 2 cards there for Jacob.
You call it a Consult the Past, but because a unit is also being defeated, I call it hidden blading your own.
Yes, I like that better.
We are not the same.
We are not the same. That's true.
All right.
Yes.
Jokes aside, Savjz does still have some runes up, could decide to develop further. Instead wants to take this challenge.
Yeah.
And I like this because the Ravenblooms are at 3 each after the one Stupefy.
Yep.
But 3 is not 4.
Correct. And because that happened on the Monastery of Harana, or sorry, on the Dreaming Tree, Savjz also able to draw a card.
So just heads up play, knowing the game state, using the battlefield brought by your opponent to your own advantage.
Yep, and Savjz has essentially full turn of points ahead here, 3-1. We are seeing the Hextech Ray being cast, I'm assuming, on the Cythria. Yep, and Savjz says that is okay, choosing not to use the Sett ability there, just letting the Cythria die. Savjz has been very good at recognizing when it makes sense to use that Sett hero ability, and here we go. RBS, Ravenbloom student, going in with a cleave, draw a card from the Dreaming Tree. That's going to be a 5. Should actually be a...
I was going to say, this actually should be a
7.
7.
7, yeah. I was going to say, I think it's 7, yeah, from the Hextech Ray as well. In any case,
it's a lot.
It's big enough. Oh, it's +5 would make sense.
Okay.
That makes sense. Okay. Well, after all is said and done, point taken there for Jacob. Savjz using the hero ability of Sett to get the first mate, keep that material around.
Oh, a pickup of a Kiana. That's got to make Savjz happy.
Love Kiana. Start wheeling and dealing on these battlefields, but also a Karma. How big do you want to go from Savjz? I think I saw a flash there from the hand, a flash of the hand showing a very unit-heavy hand composition here. So you really need to either be, you really likely want to be quite efficient with your resources here. Do you want to play one big unit? Do you want to play a handful of smaller unit, one small, one medium? We will see. It looks like, yeah, that is a Karma, First Mate, Fiora, Kiana. One other card.
I think it's another First Mate.
Another First Mate, yeah.
Because there's only been one that's hit the table, and we
saw
trio
3
earlier.
Yep, makes sense.
So all units, which of course means, as you said, Savjz has to be not just efficient with resources, but mindful of the fact that whatever you put down, you don't want it to be efficiently answered. So playing into a Kaisa, you don't want to develop things that would be answered by a single falling star, for example.
Exactly. It looks like we are going for Sett Brawler.
So with that in mind, just going to deploy the champion from the zone. Did not like the options from hand.
Yep. Makes sense. Savjz definitely in the market for some interaction here. Would like to have a call to glory or just something there
now,
to interact.
Jacob should be, I believe, jumping to 3 here with that hold point from the Ravenbloom student.
Yep, I do agree that should happen. But
Isa being accelerated from the champion zone. Going to go challenge the pit rookie. Well, have a showdown. I shouldn't say that because there's an actual card called challenge in this matchup. So I'll use a different adjective. Pick a fight. Ravenbloom coming back. Protecting it. And I think that's a really heads-up play. If you don't have ways to protect it at the Dreaming Tree, you don't have ways to draw additional cards, just get it out of harm's way.
Yep. And I believe that Jacob is likely keeping track of their points on paper because I saw them specifically say, I saw them mouth 4 and write down a note there after the point was scored. So I think maybe the production tracker on the side is not being updated, which, you know, in the heat of the moment, in the winning in for top 8, I am way more focused in on the game rather than
they are locked in.
Yeah, they're locked in rather than the production. So that's not a problem. I do believe that the point scores are accurate in game as well. Like they are mindful that it is 4-4 right now in this battle. Okay.
Sett goes into the Dreaming Tree, gets a point. Well, they did just update it there, so perhaps when Jacob mouthed 4, it was just asking how many points of each was at.
It's possible. Yeah, I'm not going to speculate. I'm not going to speculate because I don't know.
What I know is this is a massive set.
Yep.
Up to currently +6. The second first mate, so again, we saw the trio. And we see the chuckle from Jacob, like, okay, all right, that's all 3. But this huge set, because the buffs last for the entire turn, goes from one battlefield to the other without ganking. So running the gauntlet.
Yeah, just running back to base and then running back to the other field there.
Feels like the way I play League.
Yeah.
Forces the retreat on the Kaisa champion that Jacob had at the Monastery of Harana. And then gets that buff back as well after the conquering. So Savjz jumps all the way up to 6 points. And even if that set gets dealt with, still has 3 first mates in the base. So a healthy amount of might on the board. And then we're also going to see the rune recycled to hide a card at the Monastery as well.
Yeah, and it's not going to be easy. It's not easy to deal with Sett Brawler, especially considering that the Sett ability is still active. We do see that buff on the Sett Brawler. So even if it's dealt with on the first go, you really need a more permanent option there to end up killing that Sett Brawler. You basically need to kill it twice with the Sett ability.
At least. Again, we have that hidden card there.
That's true.
Could thwart things even further.
It could be a poor man's Stupefy on the Dreaming Tree.
Except they're not on the Dreaming Tree.
Oh, I know, but the Stupefy on the Dreaming Tree is the Hidden Blade. That was what I was going with. This is next level.
It's round 9.
Chat, type a 1 if you got that.
All right, so locking back in here, Jacob just kind of trying to figure out what is a path to not just stabilizing, but forward as well, because Jacob is still just on the 2 points, is behind on board in terms of might presence, and has these sticky units that they have to deal with, especially the Sett Brawler that Savjz has parked at that Monastery.
Yeah, I see.
And it is worth noting that there has to be some sort of answer to that. Whether it is at least forcing it back to the base or whatever, you can't let Savjz hold. If Savjz holds there, then they go to 7. They just have to conquer the other spot, and that's the 8th point. That would be the winning point, some might say. So Jacob, knowing that there has to be some force of the set off of that battlefield, plays a Watcher, gives the -3 to everything, but specifically pointing out the set, and is maybe going to play it safe. Yeah, just send the 2 units.
Oh, but the Paka Cub! The Paka Cub dodges the Watcher because it was hidden. absolutely devastating. It was not a hidden blade. Okay,
Yeah.
we do. It now forces the cleave. I wonder if Jacob was playing around the Paka Cub of all things.
Yeah, that was potentially a blowout if Jacob did not have the answer.
Yeah.
Rightfully called out, the Cub was not present when the Watcher came down, so it did not have the reduction in might. Savjz here going to expend that buff to save the Sett Brawler. It will go back to base.
Yep.
Also has to recycle a rune for doing so.
Yep.
But worth it in the end. And now the Falling Star to clean up the Sett Brawler. But as I said before, the good news for Savjz is you still have all of this might in base.
Yeah. Yeah, they're writing down their score here, so it's not Jacob is not at 2 right now. So I think it's just the production iPad that is not currently accurate. It is yeah, they're looking at paper right now, I think confirming the scores, and they'll likely update that here.
Yeah, I think they're just backtracking what the scores were. So that they can
there
properly
it
update.
is.
And
Okay.
there it is.
Yep.
Suddenly, this is a much tighter game.
Yeah. Look, I've been watching Jacob play various matches today. There was no chance that they missed the points. Just from having watched them, there was a 0% chance that they missed the points there.
So this is an opportunity for Savjz, though, because Jacob, while that was a explosive turn, they have all of their runes exhausted.
Yep.
So if Savjz just has the raw numbers to pull this off, could be able to get in there. One first mate is enough to clear the student.
Yeah.
So really it's just, is there some sort of buff to go over top of the Watcher, or is there some other effect to deal with it?
I see a Karma, which Karma can give the buff to one of the first mates, and that would be 3 + 3 is 6 + 1 is 7. That would be enough to kill. Now, it wouldn't win outright. However, we're now at the we're now holding for 9, which is not too shabby. It still can certainly be dealt with. You know, Darius Cleave cleans that out relatively straightforward.
Yes.
But another hidden card.
Another hidden card. So the Karma was the line, as you properly identified, just to get rid of the Watcher.
I think that was another Watcher drawn.
7. Again, the score has not been consistently updated because these players are in their winning and they are locked in.
Yep.
But Savjz should be at 7 after that conquer. Does just need to hold that location. It's now up to Jacob to push enough in there. Jacob certainly has the tools to get it done.
Yeah.
Depending on what this hidden card is.
That's going to be a Watcher. Yeah, which is great. But if this is Hidden Blade, that's not going to be good enough. That's not going to be good enough. Let's see what it is.
And we wait with bated breath.
Okay, it is a
another cub.
It's going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is enough to rebuff the attack. Right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I believe that's enough.
Yeah, it should be because the cub comes in at full value.
Right.
And Jacob did not have another cleave to force that.
Okay. Savjz goes into the turn. What is the draw here? That was a Hidden Blade.
That was a Hidden Blade, so a little bit too late because that would have been enough to close it out the previous turn, but
yeah, it's still good. It still seems pretty good now.
Still pretty good if you can just get onto a location. We do have the Kiana still in hand.
Yeah, it is a bit awkward because we've got the Kiana and the Fiora, and unfortunately only 7 runes here, so only able to play 1 card here. Is a bit awkward here for Savjz.
And again, just a quick reminder, score should actually be 7-6 Savjz. And then this would be a tie by Jacob.
Yep.
With this successful conquer, from the Watchful Sentry.
Yep. Okay, what is the follow-up?
But there is a Kaisa I believe in the hand of Jacob, so an accelerated Kaisa to the other location might actually close this out.
Yeah, I mean, we do know that the Hidden Blade is there, can be played at action speed to stop that win from happening. It's just now going to be a matter of if there is.
And there's the Hidden Blade.
Yeah. Hidden Blade, unfortunately, for Savjz, 1 turn too late.
Okay. Interesting. Jacob prioritizing the accelerate of the Kaisa over the 2 cards drawn. I don't hate that play whatsoever.
No. Yeah,
both of these players, again, should be at 7. So Jacob with that sentry threatening a hold victory.
Yeah.
And if Savjz doesn't have
that
an answer,
is it.
Did not have any sort of accelerate or removal, so the sentry will get it done.
Yeah, the watchful sentry watching over that final point there to get there. And wow, what a back and forth that match was, or that game was. That was just one game charmer.
Yes.
And Savjz on the back foot here, but we've seen Savjz pilot this deck very well. And having talked to them before the event, they are very at least knowledgeable in the Kaisa matchup. So it's not like they're going in blind. They know what to expect. They know the game plan that they're trying to go for. It's just a matter of if they're going to be able to draw the cards and execute on that game plan.
Absolutely. And we did see a very unit-heavy hand early on for Savjz. We did see the triple first mate as well. That might have slowed things down. We'll see if that happens again in game 2, which we are jumping into right now. Again, this is round 9 of Swiss. Both of these players are on the bubble. They are trying to get a top 8 spot locked. They're on their winning in, and Savjz again begins with a Cytherea.
Yep, Cytherea here. We've got Windswept Hillock on the side of Savjz. That's going to give any units here ganking. And the Void Gate on the side of Jacob, which is going to increase the spell damage dealt at that battlefield, which, of course, certainly each well, it's a little bit favored just battlefield-wise to Jacob because Kaisa units perfectly fine at dealing with ganking. Savjz not really able to take advantage of the Void Gate's ability here.
But Savjz has, with the Legend ability, a way to survive damage done anyway, so we'll potentially use that to their advantage throughout the course of the game. We didn't see much of it the previous game, but again, Savjz was very unit heavy as well. Right now, Cytherea's gonna go to the Hillock.
Yep.
Will score a point.
I think if I'm reading this hand correctly, I believe, that is going to be a Savjz pass. Nothing able to be played here for Savjz is not the ideal turn to start for Sett. You'd love to see a Fiora, you'd love to see a Kiana, you'd love to see basically anything here. But pass is not the line that you're really looking to see if you're Savjz.
So a Hextech Ray targeting the Cytherea on the Windswept Hillock. Savjz probably doesn't want to expend resources to keep this alive, but also knows it's the only board presence here. Will play a Call to Glory, will pay the energy for it, no buffs to spend to do it for free, but does allow it to survive.
Yeah, and kind of has to do this so that this trade doesn't happen for free.
Oh, but the cleave now means that the Lecturing Yordle will be successful. We'll get that conquer point for Jacob. On the one hand, if you're Savjz, you were kind of hoping to get a little bit more mileage out of that, but you did make Jacob use 2 cards to get in there, right?
Yeah.
The Hextech and the Cleave. And I think this is just going to be a Sett Brawler from hand from Savjz. Oh, plus a Showstopper.
Okay. Show being stopped. But that is going to be a retreat there. That will get the point there in for Savjz. That's going to be a Conquer. That'll be another buff for Sett Brawler. And, well, I mean, all things considered, not too bad of a scenario, not too bad of a spot here for Savjz. Has board control, a bit ahead on points, and
Yeah, with a slow unit start, I think this is a nice way to rebound. Savjz went from having essentially all units in game one for the longest time to struggling to find them, but this brawler plus the showstopper potentially allows Savjz to get back to being in kind of that tempo lead position. That's where you want to be in this matchup. It's a very interesting matchup just in general because I think both of these decks are traditionally looking for a double conquer victory when we get to the end.
Yep. And this is very similar to what we saw before. This is going to be Kai'Sa killing the, or rather, forcing the unit ability, the hero ability from Sett, and now looks like it's going to be a falling star to finish off the Sett brawler there. And Savjz is back to square one here, but now there is a Kai'Sa in play.
Oh! Unyielding Spirit to answer the falling star. Now, Savjz probably not super happy about having to recycle the runes here because you had both the legend activation and the Unyielding Spirit, but keeping that unit around is very beneficial.
Yeah, extremely necessary here. And also, and we do see a, oh yeah, there is another Sett brawler.
And then, so that gets a buff, but that buff will be expended to pay for a call to glory for free, allowing the other Sett to get onto the hillock, clear out the Kai'Sa, get that buff back. So Savjz jumps back ahead in the points lead, but also gets rid of that champion Kai'Sa. Jacob had no runes available, so no way to interact or save, no retreat that could have been played. Again, because of the runes being exhausted, there is the one in hand. So that was a great window of opportunity, and Savjz pounced on it. Yeah,
and this is really showcasing the power of the Sett brawler deck. I mean, it looked quite grim there for a second. You know, Savjz was going to have nothing in play going into this turn, but was able to save with the Unyielding Spirit there. And now they're going to have to see if they can dodge the Acathian Rain.
So Jacob saying, okay, you took advantage of when I had all of my runes exhausted. I've seen an Unyielding Spirit, but also I see you with all of your runes exhausted. And we're just going to go ahead and send this rain now and take advantage of it when we can.
I do believe they're announcing the top 8, so we might mute our mic here so we don't have any spoilers.
Or not.
Or not, maybe not.
Well, with that in mind, we again have this rain trying to resolve it. I think Jacob is also trying to figure out what the best way
All right, sorry about that, folks. We were muting there to avoid some spoilers on the stream, but we're back into the action. Looks like all the dust is settled from the Acathian Rain. We have one Sett brawler remaining, which is that's good enough a lot of the time.
Yeah, at the end of the day, if your opponent plays a Acathian Rain and you still have a unit left over,
and that unit is Sett brawler, I think you're okay.
I mean, any unit, but Sett brawler, I think that's looking still pretty good. The brawler gets back to the hillock, which is where it wants to be, because it gives it the mobility if needed, but also gets that buff. Savjz now goes to the ever-important 4 points to Jacob's 2. And Jacob is still stuck kind of searching for answers, and in the hand, doesn't appear to have a lot of gas left. I couldn't see what that final card was. It was a retreat.
Oh yeah, I also did not catch it, but I did note, the Jacob was relatively light on resources here, and we do see another Unyielding Spirit on the side of Savjz. So if there is another Acathian Rain or Falling Star to try to deal with the Sett brawler, Savjz has got it covered.
So now Jacob says, hey, what's in your trash? What have I already seen? What do I need to consider? Again, sees the one spirit already.
It is another Acathian Rain.
It is another rain. I wondered if that was the third card. So I believe it's a retreat, the Lecturing Yordle that was retreated earlier, and then a second rain. And if Savjz can survive that with the spirit, that might just be the blowout that pushes this to a game 3 because I don't know how Jacob could come back from that.
Yeah, that is Acathian Rain and 1 unit remaining is not ideal for Jacob. Acathian Rain getting countered by a 1 energy, 1 power spell is potentially scoop-worthy.
The problem is, if you're Jacob, I don't know that you have any other line.
Oh,
the draw was a Void Seeker.
Right.
So again, you just have the Yordle and then removal.
Yeah.
This is not the position you want to be if you're the Kai'Sa player because against Sett, they have so many ways to save their units, even if you factor out Unyielding Spirit. But with it, we see the Rain attempt, and Savjz has to feel really good.
Yeah, you got to feel great about this. I mean, Jacob, like you said, does not have a choice here. You see the nod. They go, yep, you had it. Can't really play around it too much. You don't even know how many Unyielding Spirits the deck is running. It's not, set standard number. So we see the second one there for Savjz. We're going to get that hold point. We're likely going to be able to conquer here with the other unit, and that is a wallop, which is not particularly useful right now, but could potentially open up a double conquer line with the Sett Brawler if it gets to that point in this game.
So Savjz with the hold point and now with this conquer should be at 6.
Yeah, and that's the magic number.
Is the magic number. And with that in mind as well, I was just about to say, might actually retreat this set. And this is, again, a very heads-up play because there are certain cards that Jacob could run into that are battlefield specific. We know that there's Void Seeker in hand, but even something like a Watcher, right? Watcher can't pick a fight with something if it's hiding at base.
Speak of which.
Hey, look.
Right off the top.
I promise this is not a pre-recorded broadcast. But yeah, it's just a heads-up play. You don't want to leave things vulnerable for no reason. Yes, the set could be protected, but why waste the resource?
Yeah, you don't want to be needlessly spending your runes if you don't have to. And now Jacob is
going to start with the Yordle.
Start with the Yordle.
I like to start because you want to draw, see what your other options are. Void Seeker.
Yep.
And this is technically for 5. So Savjz here with the Hidden Blade on what will likely be the only unit.
This is a confusing one, and I had to learn this the hard way. When you unhide a card, when you play a card from Hidden, it has reaction. At base level, Hidden Blade is an action speed spell, so not actually able to react to the Void Seeker
yeah,
there.
I was going to, yes, I understand, yep.
One of the little intricacies of Riftbound here. Spend a buff, make Sett Brawler gigantic, give it another buff with Pit Rookie.
And then the wallop to
on the ganking!
Because of the ganking provided by Windswept Hillock, can just jump to the other location. So you rightfully called out that the wallop for the double conquer was a path. You must be very good at this game.
Or I may have talked extensively with Savjz before the event about what their lines are, what their gameplay is. A lot of the card choices there. Wallop, of course, one that we don't necessarily see in every single set list. But right there, that was potentially, if the game goes a little bit longer, it could certainly get out of reach there for Savjz. But able to bring it into a game 3. And, well, it was a win-and-in match. Now it is potentially a win-and-in game here, Charmer. Game number 3, round number 9, the last round of Swiss. Winner likely making it into the top 8. Loser almost certainly not making it into the top 8. And we start here. Ravenbloom student on the side of Jacob Savjz with the first mate going second.
And we have a student along with these 4 resources. The student could be going to the Candlelit if you want to filter some of these draws early. If you think that you can hold, so again, depending on what is in the hand of Jacob, and it does look like that's the case, goes over to Grove of the God Willow instead. And it is just going to fortify, so we're going to go double Ravenbloom student on Grove of the God Willow. And that is also with 2 runes up. Again, we know Kai'Sa can do a lot with 2 runes.
Yeah.
However, in the hand, I think it might just be a single Stupefy.
One Stupefy.
But
Savjz is going to get to see what that is.
I was going to say, so in response at reaction speed, this Stupefy onto the first mate before it can be taken away will also buff the Raven Blooms. So that's a very heads-up play, taking that all the way up to 6 power.
Yep. So Stupefy.
So this will only hit the Void Seeker, only legal target after that.
Yep. Okay. Well, that makes the decision of where you're going to attack a lot easier.
Yeah, so Savjz probably wanted to deny that Grove of the God Willow hold because of the draw, but with the hand there, I see the Unyielding. It looks like a Kiana, if I'm seeing that correctly, a double Showstopper.
I see double Showstopper. I see the I can't recall the name of the card. It is the gear that gives buff. That gives buff to
okay. So if that's
units.
The card that I thought might have been a Kiana, I could quite see the energy cost. So yeah, I think that this is going to be a pretty straightforward. I think again, Savjz wanted to go over there. Unfortunately,
yes, Arena bar. There we go. I was thinking back alley bar, and that's definitely not that. Arena bar there. So could move the. We move the first mate there. We're going to play the Arena bar. We're going to give it a buff.
There is. I was going to say also the Candlelit trigger.
Yep.
I know they're already putting the buff from the Arena bar on, but technically the Candlelit would have went first.
Yep.
Arena bar does not say reaction on it. If you're one of those new players at home and you're kind of wondering with these, gear pieces or, some of the other items in the game like Legends, etc., and when you can use them, if it does not say reaction, it's just a standard action on your turn, and that is what is printed on Arena bar.
Yep.
It's a question that comes up in my locals a lot,
yeah,
so I thought I'd help the audience out.
Absolutely. It's come up a lot in my locals as well. Looks like Jacob is able to keep that hold there. That's going to be a draw from the Grove of the God Willow and the draw from the regular turn. And the point, of course, as well.
Jacob up to 2 points here. Those students, I was going to say, should also be ready, which is relevant if they wanted to go back to base.
Looks like we might just be loading up here. I'm not sure if that Lecturing Yordle is at the battlefield or not, because Jacob has sort of been playing that as their pseudo base.
Base, yeah. It is kind of riding the line, and I have seen a number of players that have kind of used that line as their base. And now it's very clear because the Raven Blooms, as I said, that should be ready, then do come back.
Okay, that is a hold point there for Savjz.
Now, this is going to be a really interesting position for Savjz to navigate because that is a surprising amount of power. I know it's just like, first turn plays, maybe second turn plays with the Lecturing Yordles.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of base might, but with 4 of them there and with the students capable of growing, it still represents a very significant threat. And on top of that, we're going to 8 runes next turn for Jacob. So even things like Watcher could be available. It could be a number of spells to deal with units and then buff the students, etc. This is a dangerous position. Savjz has to probably set up for a future turn, and I think that's why we're seeing this Sett Brawler played in the base. Yeah,
it makes sense. The question becomes, what is the game plan here?
Yeah, I was going to say, does the first mate come back just to be safe, or do you leave it and force the interaction? Because, again, there's plenty of might available to Jacob to overtake that, but maybe you're okay with the trade in that instance.
I think as long as you're getting something, it's probably good from the first mate. You also want to be able to come back through and reconquer and hopefully take out some material on the side of Jacob. Of course, they've got 4 separate units in play right now. That is a lot of material, especially compared to last game. That was more units that we even saw them have in play, I think, throughout the course of the game.
I think Savjz is okay with leaving that first mate on the Sanctum simply because if Jacob wants to commit multiple units to that side, they're less likely to hold Grove of the God Willow.
Right.
And so then that would push them off of a potential draw. So this also could just be like a bait play by Savjz saying, you know, what are you going to send over this way?
Yeah.
Jacob is going to play Kaisa from the Chosen Champion Zone, send that to the Grove of the Godwillow.
Okay.
Should get this Conquer and a draw. See if the draw impacts the game plan from Jacob.
So Nox is hopeful, so can develop even more might to the board.
So a Hextech Ray in the hand of Jacob would allow the students to both go to 3s. And that is relevant because if you want to send both in, they both need to be 3 for one of them to survive. Otherwise,
Right.
you have to commit even more units. And I think that's the decision that Jacob is mulling over now.
Yeah, it's how many resources is Jacob willing and able to commit?
Well, so another potential option, you could put 3 damage on the first mate and then send a Yordle in, force the trade, and then preserve the students if you consider them to be higher value than the Yordles.
Makes sense. I would assume that the Ravenbloom students are higher value than the Yordles in this case. I guess Jacob is just thinking about what is the worst case scenario.
Say could also just send a Yordle with them because with the tank keyword, damage has to be assigned there first.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
So this is extra insurance in case of any other shenanigans that could be popping up. So we have a 2 might, but damage has to be assigned there first.
Yep.
And then 2 3s, the leftover not enough to clear them out. Heads up play by Jacob.
Yep, absolutely. Heads up play there by Jacob. And there's a Noxus Hopeful coming in.
Yep. Getting that additional might on the board. So Jacob, a commanding board presence in terms of the units is also remembering now to get that
the Candlelit Sanctum
trigger.
Okay, that was a Cathian Rain and Void Seeker.
Yeah, if you're Savjz, you didn't like the fact that Jacob just put them both back. Means you
Although,
liked both of those cards.
Right, did like both of those cards. I mean, there's a wide range of cards that potentially Jacob would like, but we do see the Unyielding Spirit in the hand of Savjz.
There is that. There is also the double showstoppers as well as the Sett that's active now.
Yeah.
And this is the important piece in my mind, Jacob has all of the runes exhausted.
Yep.
So whatever Savjz maths
hand
up here,
down. We see the hand counter on. Yeah, I've got nothing else to do here.
Yeah, if Savjz can figure out the math to deal with the board as is, we'll be able to do whatever he wants. Does also, besides not just cleaning up the board here, want to likely score some points to keep pace. Jacob is currently ahead, 4-2. Even if Savjz gets the double score, because Jacob is essentially kind of the first scorer, is the first to threaten the win, right? So Savjz has to keep pace. And this is a big turn.
Yeah. Really big turn. This is the bread and butter for the Sett deck. You're going to be doing these showstopper plays with Sett Brawler. I mean, Jacob cannot be liking immediately starting with the Sett Brawler going up. That is going to be showstopper, immediately the Kaisa.
Oh, I thought was going to go to the Kaisa, but Savjz says, no, I want to go here.
Yeah.
And this might be, you know what, I like this. This might be where you care about the Sanctum trigger.
Yeah.
Maybe trying to see what's available before you navigate the rest of your turn.
Okay, that was just paying for the showstopper, I assume. That'll be that. That'll be a point for Savjz. Gets the trigger here. 1 left on top. 1 is going to go on the bottom.
Yeah, if you know you're going to both spots anyway, I really like this ordering because you always want to have more information before you make your other decisions.
Yep.
So, showstopper sent to the Sanctum. The move action brings it back, and now this first mate can ready, so you don't even have to use the other.
Just absolutely gigantic Sett, completely punching Kaisa into oblivion.
I really like the way that Savjz navigated that. So we are tied at 4 points apiece. Again, this is game 3 of round 9 of Swiss. This is the win-and-win game of the series.
Yep, and we do see, of course, remembering to get that arena bar, get that buff on the first mate, because I mean that breakpoint is massive for Hextech Rays and for a lot of other reasons.
Yeah, Falling Star.
Yeah, a Cathian Rain, which we know is off the top for Jacob. And I mean, Jacob may be backed into a corner here to have to force this Acathian rain to see if that can get them through. I mean, maybe
so
there's
a
watcher.
Raven Bloom student, I believe a Pouty Poro that was there as well.
Yep,
we know
I saw
about the
a watcher.
rain. Looks like another hopeful.
Yep, a
watcher.
sentry maybe?
Yeah, I can't figure out what that final card is, but this is one of those scenarios where if you're Jacob, the most attractive, like, jump out in front of your face options are probably Watcher or Rain, right?
Yeah.
The Rain has a lot of risk. We've already seen the blowouts from Unyielding Spirit before. Obviously, Savjz has runes up. I could see a situation where Jacob runs one of these units to the Sanctum just to get the trigger.
Yeah, getting that trigger first, then evaluate your options there. You can kind of set up your next turn, see, hey, what does my 2-turn plan look like? What am I actually doing here? How much can I risk, etc. Looks like they're leaning towards Watcher. There's a Watcher.
But not accelerated.
Not accelerated, okay.
Only one rune.
Okay, non-accelerated Watcher.
So the question becomes, what are those other runes going to be used for here? Because if you are not accelerating that, you clearly have a plan. I wonder if it's just going to be the hopeful.
Well, yeah, it can just be hopeful. You don't actually need to.
Am I missing something? Oh,
yeah,
the Watcher.
The Watcher
That's
trigger. Yeah, Watcher still triggers even if not accelerated. So yeah, this actually
I'm so used to it being accelerated. All right, so just using it as comes into play is still very effective.
Yeah.
The Sett was saved with the legend ability.
Yep. Yeah, it's basically do you want the 1,000-tail Watcher at a battlefield, which it looks like they do not.
Yeah, I was going to say the Conquer should still go over to Jacob because of the -3 from the Watcher.
Exactly.
I think Jacob was again doing the same thing that I did, where I was like, oh wait. Watcher wasn't accelerated?
It's such a weird play to not accelerate Watcher. You almost never see it, but we see it here, and it still gets the job done.
And so a double Conquer from Jacob. Points have not been updated, but this should take him all the way to 6.
Yep, that is the magic number.
And we have just seen a back-and-forth double Conquer from both players over and over and over, and it was the hopeful. So that's why the Watcher was not accelerated. Just wanted the comes into play, still gets that double Conquer, and develops additional might.
Yep, and Savjz, I believe, left the card that they just drew on top from that Candlelit Sanctum. We'll see. I'm going to be threading the needle here because it's been really quite back and forth.
So no runes available on the side of Jacob. So again, Savjz kind of has free reign. The biggest issue here, again, points reflected on the broadcast, not correct. Jacob's actually at 6. So the biggest issue here is Savjz not only has to peel off these locations, but then has to be able to survive against a double Conquer on the follow-up. And that Watcher sitting in base is making it rather difficult. I think that's why Savjz has taken time saying, all right, how do I get out of this pickle?
Yep. Yeah, how do you, I mean, conquering this turn is relatively straightforward. The question is, how do you set yourself up?
Yeah, how do you stop the double Conquer on the follow?
That's certainly going to be a tight needle here to thread.
And looking at that showstopper that was in the trash, I think Jacob just wanted to make sure that if another showstopper were to come down.
Yeah. What does this card actually do?
You know, can Sett come to my base and fight my Watcher? Is that allowed? Is that legal?
Yeah. That would be hilarious. But no, that's not how that works.
All right, so Sett gets the Conquer and the buff. Points have been updated on the broadcast correctly now. So Jacob again at 6, Savjz after that Conquer now at 5.
Yep, and that's 6 now.
So That is 6. The Sanctum Trigger. I don't think Savjz liked either of those options.
Nope, and I believe it was a Ponka Cub and a Fiora, so not... Savjz wants interaction here, does not care for more units. So now...
Yeah, I was going to say, this first mate has to go somewhere, if only because the move action exhausts it, and then you can buff it.
Yeah.
Which will help for a potential hold.
Yeah.
You only have to stop a double conquer.
Right.
So the buff does go out from the gear.
Okay, so we've got 6 at 1. We've got 5 at another. So as it stands, you know, Watcher's going to be able to take out one of these sides, but there's needs to be more work done in order to take out the other.
This is a spot where Savjz could come out ahead if Jacob determines that Icathian Rain is the path.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
We know that the rest of the hand was, you know, the Poro, some smaller units, etc. We also don't know what the draw is. If it was like another Watcher, then this might just be a foregone conclusion.
Right.
But if Jacob
I see a Icathian Rain Poro. I see a Void Seeker. I think Watchful Sentry and a Pouty Poro. I think maybe 2 Watchful Sentries. I think it's just a Icathian Rain Void Seeker in terms of interaction here. I'm going to start with the Watcher taking out the Sett.
This is
Savjz is going to use the
no-brainer start because this matches nicely. You don't have to commit anything additional to it. And so
there it is. Icathian Rain is going to run into another. It's going to run into it again.
There's the Rain, followed by the Spirits.
Yeah.
And if you're Jacob, I do think this was ultimately the right call. If Savjz doesn't have it, you just win the game on the spot.
Yep.
But now don't have enough to get through. Also, that Void Seeker in hand wouldn't have been enough. They're both buffed, so it would have only cleared 1.
Yep.
Instead, Hopeful will move to the Grove. Jacob at 7 points is going to ultimately say, all right, I'm going to try to hold this now for the victory.
Yep. Savjz, I believe, should be at 7 here with the hold.
Yeah, again, don't think that those points have been updating. The players are locked in. Savjz did have the double conquer the turn before, so should have been at 6, and then with the hold is at 7. So all eyes are on this Grove of the God Willow. And
there's a showstopper. Now we use the Sett buff.
Right, so this Void Seeker will get damage on the Sett.
Yep. It might as well. I mean, let the attacker do the math here. How many times did we pump the Sett here? I believe it was twice. So it should be 4, 8, 12, 13, I believe.
And then a Call to Glory for 3.
That's it. Savjz takes it down.
The first mate, and Savjz wins the final one. So started the day on broadcast with a loss, goes all the way back through the event, winning every round, goes to round 9, goes to game 3, closes it out, and you can see big sigh of relief.
There's a broadcaster, there's a content creator if I've ever seen one.
Absolutely.
Wow. That was an absolutely fantastic finish to a fantastic match there, and you know, potential winning in there again.